You're listening to Scott Samain's Inside Movie Show, Breaking Legs.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be in the universe. I'm Scott Samain, and this is Breaking Legs. On the show, we'll be breaking legs with Simon Cluett, who is executive producer of Vendetta and Top Dog films, and writer of soon-to-be-released film Age of Kill. I've got a competition for you, but first, as always, start with a little bit of nostalgia.
Battle of the Planets. G-Force. 5 incredible young people with superpowers. And watching over them from Center Neptune, 7 Zark 7. Watching, warning against surprise attack by alien galaxies from beyond space. Fearless young orphans protecting Earth's entire galaxy. Always 5, acting as one. Dedicated, inseparable, invincible.
That was the theme tune from the 80s cartoon Battle of the Planets. Battle of the Planets cast 5 young people as G-Force, consisting of Mark, Jason, Princess, Cluett and Tiny. G-Force protects Earth from the planet Spectra and other attacks from beyond space. The most prominent field commander of Spectra forces was a villainous masked individual known as Zoltar. The main ship of the G-Force team was called the Phoenix, which could carry, transport and deploy 4 smaller vehicles, each operated by one team member. The 4 vehicles included a futuristic race car with various hidden weapons driven by Jason. This vehicle was concealed within the Phoenix's nose cone. The Galacticycle, a futuristic motorcycle the Princess rode, was stored within the left wing capsule of the Phoenix. Cluett's Space Bubble, an all-terrain tank-like vehicle capable of being a submersible craft, was held in the right storage capsule of the Phoenix. And lastly, a futuristic jet fighter that Mark pilots was stored in the top rear section of the Phoenix Command Island structure, and which used its tail fin to make up the centre tail fin of the Phoenix. The 5th crew member, Tiny, was assigned to pilot the Phoenix rather than one of the detachable craft. A regular featured plot device was the transformation of the Phoenix into a flaming bird-shaped craft able to handle virtually any exceptional situation by functioning as a sort of giant super blowtorch called the Fiery Phoenix. The G-Force team themselves would use a combination of martial arts, ninja-like weapons and their cerebronic powers to dispatch hordes of enemy soldiers and overcome other obstacles. Their bird-like costumes included wing-like capes that could fan out and function nearly identically to parachutes and or wingsuits, enabling the G-Force members to drift or glide down to safety from heights which would otherwise prove fatal. And that was this week's nostalgia, Battle of the Planets!
You're listening to Scott Samain's Inside Movie Show, Breaking Legs.
Here's some news since the last show. The film Paddington has just been released. I can't wait to see that. We Still Kill the Old Way, which is a film from Richwater Films. that is due for release on DVD on Boxing Day, but I believe it will be shown on some cinemas leading up till Christmas, so I'll try and keep you posted on that if I can. But look out for it. We still kill the old way. In other news, I'm going to go into a bit more detail now about a film called The Criminal Audition. I mentioned it last show. Now, The Criminal Audition is a film about people willingly framing themselves for money. So imagine if I killed someone and I wanted to get away with it. The organisation, as they're called in the film, will find people who will take the rap for you. Now, that's all I'm going to say about the actual film and the plot. They are running an Indiegogo campaign at the moment, which can be found on Twitter at Crim Audition, or on Facebook, The Criminal Audition, or you can look it up on Indiegogo. There's a crowdfunding campaign going on at the moment. You can donate anything up from £2 up to £3,000, and there's different perks associated with what you contribute. The team behind Criminal Audition have been putting out updates regarding cast and crew, and so far that have been announced, I can confirm it's being directed by Samuel Gridley, produced by Adam Spinks, and written by Luke Cale. Luke Cale also stars as Ryan. The film also stars Nolene Comiskey as Meridius, who is currently starring in EastEnders. It also stars Sakinda Malik as Prabaker, who has been in Hollyoaks and Rocky Balboa. I will be playing the part of Mo, who's a hitman. Also announced is George Somner, who will be playing Jay. George has starred in BBC series The Doctors. And Cameron Harris will be playing Morris. Also announced is Holly Sermon, who will be makeup artist. She has recently worked on Guardians of the Galaxy. The production manager is Chris Knight. Line producer is Becky Walker. And cinematographer will be Chris Osborne. Look out for it. It's The Criminal Audition. You can follow it on Twitter at Crim Audition, or on Facebook, The Criminal Audition, or look up Indiegogo. And it's on there. It's a crowdfunding campaign. I think possibly by the time this show goes out, there'll be about 10 days left. So please, if you could donate, it would be lovely. And in other news, McBusted, who are the band formed from McFly and Busted, have just shot a video for one of their new songs from the new album. The song's called Get Over It. Look out for the video. I think it's just coming out before Christmas. And look closely, you should see me in it. I've got a moustache. Something horrible happens to me. Look out for it. And that was your news.
You're listening to Scott Samain's Inside Movie Show, Breaking Legs.
Welcome back, everybody, and it's interview time now. And today we'll be breaking legs with Simon Cluett, who is executive producer on films Vendetta and Top Dog, and writer of soon-to-be-released film Age of Kill. So thank you for joining us on Breaking Legs, Simon.
Hello, Scott. Thank you for having me.
No problem. You are executive producer and screenwriter, and the Breaking Legs interviews are about finding out how the TV and film industry works, the mechanics of it all. So let's begin finding out about what you do. So, how long have you been an executive producer and screenwriter?
Executive producer, not that long, about 18 months, I suppose. Screenwriter, significantly longer, about 20 years, on and off. Had a fair share of successes along the way, mostly failures, it has to be said. But script writing has been, or writing in particular, has been something of a passion of mine since school. Okay.
So what did you do before becoming the exec producer and screenwriter?
Well, I have a full-time job. Thankfully, it allows me the flexibility to do writing. It's a job I quite enjoy. People are nice, it pays the bills. But yeah, outside of that, script writing has always been the ambition.
And who or what influenced you into becoming an exec producer or writer? Both.
Okay, I'll tackle that in two parts.
Okay.
In terms of writing, my parents, especially my mum, was always very supportive of my writing. But it wasn't really until I met a very close friend of mine, Mike Burry. Hello, Mike, if you're listening. Who
Hello, Mike.
Got me into script writing. He kind of opened my eyes to it as a possibility. In terms of executive introduction, I'd say that was, well, it was probably Jonathan Softcott, friend of the show.
Friend of the show, yeah.
Of course.
Hello, Jonathan.
I was on his list of contacts, and he sent me an email asking if I'd be interested in investing in Vendetta. And I was at a point in my life where I was thinking about investing in something, and I know more about films than pharmaceuticals. So it was an ideal opportunity to get involved at an entry level.
Okay, so maybe this question's been answered already, but what was the first thing you were EP on then?
Well, that would have been Vendetta. Yeah, I read the script, it was brilliant. Even the concept art, the very early stages of the concept art, basically told me everything I needed to know about the film. It was Danny Dyer with a gun, looking hardcore, with London as a backdrop, and they basically delivered that film, so I was very happy.
Okay, well, it's time for a bit of music, and the rules of Breaking Legs are you can choose music, but they must be from film or TV. So what have we chosen first, Simon?
First up, it would be Extreme Ways by Moby, from the Bourne Identity and its sequels.
Okay, everybody enjoy a bit of Moby, Extreme Ways. Welcome back, everybody. That was Moby in Extreme Ways from the Bourne Identity films, chosen by Simon Cluett, who we are breaking legs with tonight. Welcome back, Simon.
Hi, Scott.
Okay, let's get back to the interview. So, what do you like most about your profession?
Okay, well, taking screenwriting as my profession.
Yeah.
First of all, it would be the buzz of creating something new, seeing coming up with an idea and seeing it come to life, creating a world, inhabiting that world with hopefully interesting characters, seeing how they interact, and by interact in my scripts that usually means them shouting at each other, swearing at each other, killing each other. Delivering a script and getting feedback, hopefully positive or at least constructive, is great. With Age of Kill as an example, I mean, that was my first produced script, and I went along to the set a couple of times and to see scenes unfold and characters brought to life by actors of the quality of Martin Kemp and Phil Davis, Patrick Bergin, Bruce Payne. There really is nothing like it. But I suppose the crowning glory would be actually sitting in the cinema and watching the film with a crowd of paying punters. That would really be the icing on the cake, I suppose.
Cool. What do you like least?
What do I like least? Well, I suppose back in the days when I used to spend 6 months to a year writing a script, printing out 20 odd copies, carefully writing a covering letter and putting the script and the letter in a jiffy bag, taking a pile of them to the post office, sending them out, only for nothing to come back. Occasionally you might get something returned unread, if you're lucky, but pretty much I could have just chucked him in a landfill site. That's pretty disheartening.
Well, glad you didn't, Simon.
Perseverance is the key.
That's it. Okay, how do you get approached to be a screenwriter?
Approached. Approached, if only. You don't get approached. You have to push through the pain barrier and keep struggling until you get yourself noticed.
Okay, right, it's time for some more music. So, what have you chosen for your second song, Simon?
My second song is Cat People by David Bowie from the film Inglourious Bastards.
Myself for 1,000 years. Judgment may can never bend. See these eyes so green, I could stare for 1,000 years. Just be still with me. Just wanna believe what I've been through. When you've been so long, it's been so long. But I've been putting out the fire with gasoline. Putting out the fire with gasoline. Putting out fire. I've been putting out fire. Was it so long, so long, so long? Was it so long, so long, so long? I've been putting out fire. Been putting out
Okay, we're back and we're breaking legs with screenwriter and executive producer Simon Cluett. Welcome back, Simon.
Hi Scott, good to be back.
You were just listening to David Bowie and Cat People from the film Inglourious Bastards. So, what's your favourite thing that you've written, Simon?
That would be Age of Kill, I think. It's the film, the idea that is probably the most commercial. It's certainly the one that's gotten the furthest in terms of all the projects that I've written, and probably over the last 20 years it's probably getting on for about 20 odd scripts, give or take, and yeah, this is my first produced story, so yeah, I'm very happy with that one. And to get the cast assembled, Martin Kemp, Phil Davis, we've got April Pearson, we've got Nick Moran, Bruce Payne,
Heavyweight.
Patrick Bergin, for heaven's sake. I've met Patrick Bergin. He liked my script. My goodness me, he was in Patriot Games with Harrison Ford and Sleeping with the Enemy with Julia Roberts. So yeah, serious heavyweight there.
Amazing. Is there any material that you wish you hadn't written or maybe wish to burn or delete?
Well, of the scripts that I've written, there's certainly a sizable number that I wouldn't be any rush to dust off, dig out and read again, I have to say. But as for deleting, no, I don't think so, because everything I've written I feel has helped in some way or another. Maybe it's from that I've learned not to do a particular genre again, or try a particular character. I feel like I've honed my script writing skills with every project, every script I've written. I've now gotten to a point where rather than spending 6 months to a year on a script, I can generally do a first draft in about a month. So my writing style has become a lot more punchy, a lot more to the point, I suppose, structurally in terms of the characters and dialogue, which is something I particularly enjoy writing. I feel I can do a reasonably good job in about a month.
Okay, so you say you can get a first draft knocked out in a month. How do you do that? What timescale? How do you allow? What do you just do it spontaneously, or do you religiously, or?
Once upon a time, I would just come up with a vague idea and started on page 1 and not finished until page 90, say, and then spend a long time, probably too long, editing, re-editing, and then start sending it out. I've learned the hard way that a more efficient approach is to come up with a really good idea that you can pitch succinctly in a paragraph, as few words as possible, basically, to someone who's in a position to do something with that idea. So it's no point coming up with a great idea for a romantic comedy and then sending it to someone that's known for horror films, for instance. You aim it in the direction of someone that has a track record in that particular genre, and you put it to them in as clear and succinct way as possible, and basically give them no other option than to try and make it as good as you possibly can, sell yourself in as few words as possible.
Okay, I mean that is great advice. Any more bits of advice for any budding screenwriters out there?
Well, screenwriting and writing in general is one of the few things that pretty much anyone can do with a notepad and a pen or a computer. It's probably advisable to get yourself a bit of industry standard software when you're in a position to kind of get your projects seen by industry professionals, but it's not necessary. You can use any sort of word processing software to begin with, just as long as it kind of follows the basic rules. Back in the day when I started out, there wasn't really an internet as such, let alone anything on the internet to read, such as I know. I learnt my trade through a home study course, if you can remember such a thing. I remember spending something like £20 on a copy of the Raiders of the Lost Ark script, when now it's freely available. So but there's some very, very good books out there. I'd recommend Story by Robert McKee. There's a guy called Sid Field. Pretty much anything he's ever written, read that, devour it, remember it, because he's brilliant. And also probably the first book that I read on the subject was Adventures in the Screen Trade by William Goldman, who my friend Mike Bowie, who I mentioned earlier, gave to me. So that's the thing that kind of really started. It's through that things started slotting into place for me. Brilliant.
Okay, time for a bit more music. So what's your next song, Simon?
Well, when you asked me to come up with some songs for the interview, my thoughts immediately turned to James Bond, because fantastic songs across the decades from that series of films, particularly from John Barry, but there's so many good ones I just couldn't decide. So I decided to think outside the box, and I went for the theme from the Ipcress File by John Barry.
We're back and we're breaking legs with Simon Cluett, who's an executive producer and screenwriter, and we were just listening to the theme from the It Crash File, starring Michael Caine.
Indeed.
Not a lot of people know that. So, are there any films that you wish you could have written yourself?
Oh, now there's a big question right there. Okay. Quentin Tarantino has been a huge influence. I wouldn't say I come close to his level, but in terms of the characterisation and the quality of his dialogue, that's something I certainly try to aspire to. So, with the exception of Death Proof, pretty much anything that he's ever written I would have liked to have had a crack at. Also, The Usual Suspects, I think, is a terrific piece of work.
Oh, brilliant, yeah.
Equally, Seven.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And David Mamet is a very skilled, gifted screenwriter.
Okay, how has social media affected things for you?
I suppose it allows you to connect to people who have similar interests, like-minded individuals who are trying to get into writing or who have established themselves as writers. Through Twitter, I've become virtual friends, for want of a better phrase, with Dougie Brimson, another friend of the show, of course.
Hello, Dougie.
Writer of Top Dog and The Crew, of course. Nick Oldham, who's a very well-established writer as well. Learned quite a bit from him, I must say. But also directors and actors. Sacha Bennett is an extremely well-established director. He's the man behind Bonded by Blood, one of the classic Essex Boys films, I suppose, and the soon-to-be released We Still Kill the Old Ways. A very nice chap, and up-and-coming directors like Greg Hall, who's a name to watch out for. He directed something called... Right, now I've got to get this right, because he wrote it as a film called This Is a Robbery, but it was released as The Dangerous Mind of a Hooligan. Or I'm not quite sure the ins and outs there, but he's one to watch.
Okay. Who's your favourite actor, actress and director?
Well, in terms of actors, it's the old guard, really. It's the Harrison Fords, the Gene Hackmans, the Sean Connerys. It's people of that kind of level whose films I Gene Hackman, unfortunately, Sean Connery, they're not working anymore, but they're the sort of people whose films I go back to time and time again. Clint Eastwood, I so much respect for the man. Still directing. Still can carry a film.
Yeah, so, he can. Yeah.
For actresses, I must admit I do like Charlize Theron, not just because she's utterly gorgeous and beautiful, but she's also extremely versatile. I don't think there's any role that she can't do, to be honest. She's returned in some amazing performances.
Yeah, Devil's Advocate, Monster, great film.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Less said about Prometheus, the better. But that aside,
let's not get into that one. Okay. Have you ever thought about being an actor?
I have been an actor. I was in The Hobbit.
Oh, excellent.
Not the Peter Jackson one. It was a school production. I played Dwalin, son of Fundin, brother of Balin. And yes, probably least said about that the better, to be honest. But no, my favoured position is as far away behind the camera as humanly possible. I'm not an actor and I have no aspirations in that direction.
Okie dokie, right, time for a bit more music. And what's your next song?
Well, it's a big old slice of 80s cheese from one of my favourite films of that era. It's Back in Time by Huey Lewis and the News from Back to the Future.
Excellent.
Is this the 50s? Please don't deviate. Don't wanna be late again. So take me away. I don't mind. But you better promise me I'll be back in time. Gotta get back in time. Gotta get back in time. Get me back in time. Gotta get back in time. Gotta get back in time. Get back, get back. Get back, buddy. Gotta get back in time. Gotta get back in time. Get back, get back.
If you just tuned in, tonight we're breaking legs with Simon Cluett, screenwriter and executive producer, and you were just listening to Huey Lewis in the News. And what was the song, Simon?
It's Back in Time from Back to the Future.
Excellent. Great film, great film. Okay, on with the interview. What kind of films do you like, Simon?
I like good films, no particular genre. I went through a phase not that long ago of pretty much just watching thrillers and horrors, but I've kind of emerged from that the other side, and I tend not to. As I've gotten older, I tend to have a weaker stomach. So whereas I used to enjoy the Saw films, I tend to avoid that kind of thing. Nowadays, it's The Bourne Identity, it's Speed, it's Die Hard. Those sort of films that I can go back to again and again. More recently, I'm loving the Marvel universe, Captain America and Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor. All of those sort of films are terrific good fun. But on the other end of the spectrum, I'm also enjoying the UK-based films, the independent films, things like Vendetta and Top Dog, and I'm really looking forward to We Still Kill the Old Way. So yeah, just films that have got a bit of effort into them, aren't just about making a quick buck. Obviously, if they make a bit of money on the side, that's great, but good scripts, well directed, well acted, that's what I enjoy.
Okay, now here's a hard question. What is your favourite film and what's your favourite TV programme?
Okay, well, that's quite an easy question to answer, actually, because my favourite film of all time, easily, is Raiders of the Lost Ark. I saw it with my dad when I was about 10 years old, and I've got very fond memories. These were back in the days when you go to cinema and a whole section would be devoted to people who wanted to smoke.
Yeah.
If you can imagine such a thing. But I particularly remember that because I went along and dear old Dad bought me sweets and the ticket, and I had about 10p or something in my pocket, and I plugged it into a fruit machine. And I know I'm not any sort of fruit machine addict, especially at 10 years old, but I pressed a button randomly and I won enough money to buy the film poster. I can't remember exactly how much that was, but it just stuck in my mind. And I just love the escapism of the film, the adventure, the daring duo. It's got everything. I can watch that. If I had the time, I would watch that pretty much every week. I love it to bits.
Yeah, I do remember a request coming through on another show once from someone called Simon.
Oh yes, that was Anything Goes from the superior sequel, better than Last Crusade, and of course that other one that we don't talk about. But as for TV shows, that's probably got to be Breaking Bad. I think Vince Gilligan, the guy who created the show and wrote and directed many of the episodes, is a genius. I mean, today, there's a lot of very, very good shows around, but I think that's head and shoulders above even the likes of Game of Thrones, and The Blacklist is very good. There's many, many good ones, but that's a particular favourite.
Cool. If you hadn't been born in this century, when and where would you have liked to have lived?
Probably the 1930s, but the 1930s that we know and love through films.
Yeah.
Shanghai 1935 from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I'd love to hang out at the Club Obi-Wan.
Oh, yes.
I would love that. Or David Mamet's version of Chicago in The Untouchables. That's where I'd feel most at home, I think.
Okay, can you tell us any funny stories from your time as a screenwriter or executive producer?
Well, as a writer, you generally spend most of your time in a darkened room in the wee small hours with only a laptop for company. So the scope for amusing anecdotes and hijinks is fairly limited. So I'm sorry to give a boring answer, but I have to say that probably the most amusing thing that's happened is a spider crawling out from under the sofa and me shrieking like a 5-year-old girl because I don't like spiders.
Okay, what's in the pipeline for you at the moment?
At the moment, it's mainly about Age of Kill, which it's 6 targets, 6 hours, or London burns. Martin Kemp plays a disgraced Black Ops sniper that gets a phone call that sends him off into a ticking clock, cat and mouse conspiracy chase thriller. I've already mentioned many of the stars involved, so that, as far as I know, will be released in the first half of next year. I've written the tie-in novel, which is kind of exciting. All being well, that will be released around the same time. That's with Caffeine Nights. That's the publisher who are the guys behind the novel of Vendetta and Top Dog. They're working with some very exciting authors. So I've also got I've written another script which unfortunately I can't really talk about at the moment. Boo. Sorry to be disappointing, but if the stars come into alignment, hopefully that will go into pre-production soon, but I don't know. I've always got a few ideas clicking around in my brain, so hopefully Age of Kill will just be the first of many. Okay,
so everyone look out for Age of Kill coming out sometime next year. So then, Simon, where can we find you? Promote yourself.
Well, I'm on Facebook and also Twitter at SA Cluett, so if you want to chat about films or script writing or anything, just tweet me. Cool.
Okay, look, unfortunately, that's all we've got time for. Simon, you've been a really good guest, really insightful answers. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, and we'd like to play out to one more song that you've chosen.
Okay, now this song, people will probably know best from Reservoir Dogs, but it also got a new lease of life recently. It was featured in Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's Hooked on a Feeling by Blue Swede.
Okay, thanks very much, Simon. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Scott.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's alright. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Lips as sweet as candy, its taste is on my mind. Girl, you got me thirsty for another cup of wine. Got a bug from you, girl, but I don't need no cure. I just stay a victim if I can for sure. All the good love when we're all alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. All the good love when we're all alone. Keep it up, girl. Yeah, you turn me on. I'm hooked on a feeling, I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a feeling, and I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I said I'm hooked on a feeling, and I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Hooked on a feeling.
I'm Simon Cluett, executive producer of the films Vendetta and Top Dog and writer of Age of Kill. You're listening to Scott Samain's Inside Movie Show, Breaking Legs.
Well, that's all we've got time for this week, and I want to say a big thank you to Simon Cluett for coming on. Really enjoyed the interview, and I think there's going to be some big things coming from him in 2015, so look out for Simon Cluett. Now, as it's Christmas, and because I never done a competition last week, and the competition question is, which famous Hollywood actor appeared in the video for this song? Okay, which famous Hollywood actor appeared in the video for this song? Now, if you want to send me your answers, you can tweet me at Scott Samain, or you can get me on Facebook, Scott Samain. Just tweet or send me a message on Facebook what the answer is, and I'll give you a shout out on the next show. The song is Fairy Tale of New York by the Pogues, featuring the late Kirsty MacColl. Now, I want to wish you all a Merry Christmas, everyone. See you next year.
It was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. An old man said to me, won't see another one. And then he sang a song, the rare old mountain dew. I turned my face away and dreamed about you. Got on a lucky one, came in 18 to 1. I've got a feeling this year's for me and you. Christmas. I love you, baby. I can see a better time when all our dreams come true.
They got cars big as bars, they got rivers of gold, but the windows right through you, it's no place for the old. When you first took my hand on a cold Christmas Eve, you promised me Broadway was waiting for me. You were handsome,
You were pretty queen of New York City. When the band finished playing, they held out for more.
Sinatra was swinging, all the junk they were singing. We kissed on the corner, then danced through the night. The boys of the NYPD choir were singing, "Go away, babe," and the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. You're a bum, you're a punk,
You're an old slut and junk lying there almost dead on a drip in that bed.
you scumbag, you maggot, you cheap, lousy faggot. Happy Christmas, you're ours, I pray God it's our love.
The boys of the NYPD choir still singing, "Go away, babe," and the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day. I could have been someone.
Well, so could anyone. You took my dreams from me when I first found you.
I kept them with me, babe. I put them with my own. Can't make it all alone. I built my dreams around you. The boys of the NYPD choir still singing, "Go away, babe," and the bells are ringing out for Christmas Day.